There is growing momentum and indeed consensus behind repealing the individual mandate and using those savings to lower tax rates for working Americans. This is something I've been advocating for weeks, and the individual mandate as it is right now, it's a profoundly unpopular part of Obamacare. Every year the IRS fines about 6.5 million people because they don't have the money to purchase health care. Of those 6.5 million, roughly 80% make $50,000 a year or less. Roughly 40% make $25,000 a year or less. So if you're a single mom, you're struggling to feed your kids, you don't have enough money to afford health care because Obamacare has driven the premiums so high. Right now, to add insult to injury, the IRS fines you because you can't afford to pay for the premiums that have risen so high.
When you repeal the mandate, all you're doing is repealing a tax. And you're repealing a tax that falls on mostly poor Americans. And all we're saying to poor Americans is we're no longer going to tax you because you can't afford to buy insurance that costs too much. I mean, that's in my state, we have hundreds of thousands of folks who are paying the tax rather than buying the insurance because they can't afford the insurance. Now, that tells me the insurance is too expensive, and I don't think they ought to be taxed. And so all we're doing with the mandate is repealing tax.
The real question is do we have 50 votes that are comfortable with doing it that are also prepared to vote for the rest of the tax bill? And that's what this is all about, is getting to that magical 50 number. And if we can get there, we think that's a step in the right direction, not just in terms of tax reform that helps to build a very healthy economy, but it also means the first steps in the repeal and replacement of Obamacare, all of which can occur yet this year as far as the first steps. Long term, it takes 2 years to repeal and replace it because it takes that long for the states to actually put back into effect their individual plans, their laws, and then to set up the rules so that the individual companies can start to compete once again in an open market.